Hello. Looks like we are actually live now. There we go. There we go. Good, good, good. Just had to double check a couple things, and it looks like we are off and running. Fantastic. All right. Well, welcome everybody to the second ever Golem Wolf art stream. I am Tim Adams, otherwise known as GolemWulf. That started as an old Xbox channel, or an Xbox handle, and it just kind of stuck. And then, yeah, so that's where that comes from. So, again, this is episode 2. So, last week, this is where we left off. I started out yesterday's stream not having any clue what I was going to draw, so I decided just to wing it. And this is kind of the spoilers. Sorry, you didn't see that. So this is kind of the rough image we kind of got to starting out. I started out with this guy, and thought he was kind of fun, so I just kind of shrunk him down, threw him in the background, and then saw where it would go, and it turns out he was fighting, he was watching Superman fighting Doomsday, because I thought that'd be fun too. And so, as we go, so I got the real loose, rough sketch in there, and then this was kind of more the refining, and then I did an inking step, and this is as far as we got last week. So this week we're gonna pick up from there, but I did decide, you know what, there's something about this that's just really bothering me. So I did do a little bit of tweaking between last week off stream. I apologize, I'm not going to try to not make a habit of that, but this was something that was just really bothering me. I really wanted to get I don't know, it was just feeling very empty and very flat to me, so I decided to go ahead and put some more inks in there. And so this is where I currently am. I'm still going to tweak the inks some more, and see where we can get as far as color tonight. Hopefully we can get this done tonight. If not, fair whatever. We're just gonna go and see what happens. So. Yeah, and the replay of last week's live stream is up on my channel, so if that's something you're interested in, wanting to see at least how we got to this stage, feel free. And yeah, so here we go. Here we go. I'm just kind of doing a John Byrne thing with the buildings here. Yeah, he was kind of famous for. Well, I've seen a lot of artists do this, but he's the one that I'm most associate with that outside of like Todd McFarlane or something. He probably got it from John Byrne, where you get these buildings and you just kind of streak down it until you get these kind of a ghost effect. So it kind of pushes them in the background. It kind of gives the hint that there's detail there, but it's more or less a just kind of there to give the appearance of detail without actually drawing it in there. And now the beauty of the beauty of digital is we can draw with transparency, and that's one thing I like about Clip Studio Paint, which is what I am using here. I do a lot of traditional artwork as well, which you can probably see behind me. Those are some test pages I'm working on. I might, maybe when there's actually some people here watching, I might pull them out and show them where they're at least where they currently are at. But if I were doing this traditionally, I would just be using white out and to kind of put those windows in. But that's all there is to it. So we're just going to go ahead and try to get some separations going. So the main thing is, foreground, middle ground, background. So obviously, tell you what, let's do this. Mr. Doomsday here, he's in the foreground. He is right in your face. So we really want to give him the most most contrast, the most work on him. Second would be Superman, and then these guys. So um, you can definitely do that in the inks, obviously. So thinner lines for these guys, less detail. Foreground guys, thicker lines, more detail. Um, that helps really push them into the foreground. And then a lot of that is also going to be done with the color as well. So that will definitely be a big help in terms of separating your planes and helping guide the reader or the viewer where you want it to look. Because ideally, and I kind of did this subconsciously, but I guess I got a little bit of a C curve composition going. Because the idea is I want you to kind of start here because you're going to see this giant face in the screen, and people tend to look at faces just naturally. That's just kind of the way we're wired. So you're going to see, oh, this dude's getting his face. He doesn't look so hot. What's going on? And then you're going to look up, oh, this guy, Superman, looks like he's punching him really hard. That's cool. And then you're just going to kind of follow that arc and see this guy going like, oh my goodness. And then you got this girl back here just bored on her phone recording this for whatever social media is popular at the time. So yeah, so that's kind of the main goal of what I'm looking for. Is I really want you to look here first, here second, and then here third, and then the buildings are just kind of a background element. So yeah, hopefully that made some sense. If not, feel free to tell me. So yeah, so let's see. We're gonna go ahead and I want to get a little bit more emphasis on the fact that he. Let's see. Can you see my cursor? You probably can't see my cursor, can you? Okay. Let's see. I thought I told it. Okay, yeah, you can see the cursor. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I really want to emphasize the fact that he just got rocked by Superman. So. Right now, I don't think it really sells it, so we're just gonna kind of. So I started doing some of these. He's got all these like spikes and stuff on his side of his face. So I decided it'd be kind of fun to go ahead and try to, have some of these a little more crooked, a little more broken, and have a bunch of these just flying off. So we're gonna do some of that. Just kind of like jag it out and have some of these flying out. Just going like, oh man. Superman's going, oh, I remember what you did to me in the 90s, Doomsday. That ain't happening again. Doomsday's like, I'm so sorry. Actually, I don't know if he can talk, if you would even say that. Does Doomsday talk? I don't think Doomsday talks. He's kind of more of just like a mindless brute. But I'd imagine he'd be wishing he could apologize at this point. And I also do have a kind of a grayish background on this, just so it's easier to look at without all the, blinding eye weight. So whenever I finish this, I will put the white background on it and publish it. I'll post it like that. Well, actually, it'll be color, so it won't even matter. But if I were leaving it just inks, I would put that white background on there. But frankly, drawing on that just hurts my eyes after a while. So I just like putting that gray on there to keep it from doing that. And so then the other thing we got to watch out for is tangents. So I had a little bit of one going right here where it looks like looked like the smoke was kind of blending in with Superman's cape here. That's called a tangent, and that basically is where lines kind of blend into other lines and basically ruin the illusion of 3D and depth, and that's a big no-no when you're drawing. In real life, tangents definitely exist, and but when you're doing any kind of illustration or even photography, I know a lot of photographers try to avoid finding tangents in real life. it just, you know, it just makes a more pleasing shot, a more pleasing image. It just makes it read a little clearer. So we're gonna, I assume his eyeball is gonna be a little more recessed because he's got this real thick eyebrow. Kind of come overhead. I kind of want to emphasize that a bit more. He's like, ah, oh, that hurt. Now, if I were inking this traditionally, I definitely would be, you know, taking my more time, I guess, with it. Not a whole lot though. I do tend to ink kind of loose, knowing that I can, you know, just white it out whatever I need to fix. I don't know. For me, if I try to ink too clean or too precise, I don't know. For me, the image just ends up getting kind of stiff and real boring almost. It just loses all that energy. I like a lot of energy in the artwork, so I'm trying to do everything I can to keep that going. And there's a lot of ways to do that through, you know, line art, through just debris flying, and, you know, poses. You know, there's just all kinds of ways to do that. But just think about it. You know, every time you refine something, every time you refine it, you tweak it, you make it more, I guess, defined, for lack of a better term. Every time you do a layer of defining, let's say, or polishing, you're kind of stripping it away of a little of its energy. And so that's one thing they talk about. You hear a lot of artists talk about the gestures. So like right here, you know, I intentionally kept these extremely loose and very rough, because the whole point was to get that energy going, because I knew that as I went and refined, that energy would inevitably get lost to some extent. So by starting with a large amount of energy, it you know, gives you a bit more you can sacrifice before you know, the whole picture goes flat. And Superman's got his dark hair, so we're just gonna give him that. Superman's got to have the spit curl. It's a requirement. You got to have the spit curl. Let's see. I really want to kind of want to separate that cheekbone of his a bit, really give that some punch. There we go. Yeah, I let that cheekbone really want to emphasize that cheekbone. Like, he's got a big, thick, heavy skull under there. And make it almost sharp looking. He doesn't really have any lips or anything, so I can't use those to emphasize the roar. So we're just gonna kind of go with it here. Kind of add some, you know, lines of stress on the skin. Yeah, he's kind of looking old now if I do that too much, so let's be careful there. But I do want it to look like, oh man, he just got hit really hard by the Superman. Superman hits really hard. Let's see how I feel about it. Nah, don't like that. Cool. I think that's about as good as they need. Again, they're kind of background elements, so they don't really need a whole lot on them. Let's just bring this down because I don't want that to, there we go. Then we'll just have a whole bunch of rubble. can bring in this real thin little brush here, kind of a nib, which is representing those old kind of pen, those dip pen nibs that are real old school. I've got a few of those. Yeah, that's truth. And the reality is, since I am going to be coloring this, that does give me a bit more leeway. I am completely making this up as I go, so bear with me as we're kind of figuring this out together. Yeah, so he's got here, so this is going to cause a big shadow there. Going, oh look, up in the sky, it's Superman rockin' Doomsday. Doomsday's going, ouch. Ouch. I'm gonna feel that in the morning. If he wakes up. Chances are Superman's got some kind of... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll send him to the negative zone or something. Wouldn't put him back in that spaceship that he was found in, because clearly that did not do a good job of keeping him asleep. That's how all this got going in the first place. Let's see. I'm tweaking the cape here, making sure that looks a little more three-dimensional. Gotta do these little kind of V shapes. Or if anyone knows Homestar Runner, consummate V's. Gotta do some consummate V's. If you're cool, you know what that means. You know what that's from. You can still be cool if you don't, but you're extra cool if you do. Using consummate V's. Yeah, this is a danger I have with digital, zooming in way too much. Cool. All right. Let's see. I'm not hating this. Let's see. I think there's still something I should do with this cape. There's still something about the cape that's just not quite grabbing me. Let's see. Let's give him a couple more spikes here while I figure that out. The beauty about it is you can always come back. If something bothers you, you can always come back and try it out. What is going on? Okay. We'll call that good. Well, alright, we'll call that good. Maybe for inks. No, you know what? Let's just give them a few more spikes here just to really build them up. Hello. I see we actually have a couple of people watching. Hi. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you stopping by. If you're wondering at all who I am, my name is Tim. Go by GolemWulf online. And yeah, I like to draw and stuff. This is a weekly draw stream that I'm going to be doing every Tuesday night, 7 o'clock Central Time. I am an aspiring comic book artist. And so, yeah, so this is me giving it a shot, doing it online. That perspective is off a bit, so we're just going to tweak that. Yeah, if you want to see my work or stuff, in the description of this should have my link tree in there. If it's not, I will definitely put it in there. Actually, that's a good point. Let me just double check to make sure that's in there. Bear with me here. Pretty sure it is, but just let me double check. Hey Scott, how you doing, man? Yeah, I remember you. It's been a long time, man. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. How you been? Okay, yeah, it looks like it's not in the video, but it is in the bio. So, and then for the upload, I'll make sure that it gets in there. But yeah, you can see my work and stuff online if that's something you're interested in. But yeah, Scott, good to see you, buddy. How you doing? I hope all is well with you. Long story, but not bad. Well, it's been a long time, so I get that. I understand long stories, believe me. Well, I'm going to be here a couple hours, so if you want to tell me all about it publicly on the internet, feel free. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But seriously, though, thanks for stopping by, man. I really appreciate it. Let's see. Short run is that you're married, have 3 kids, and 6. Oh, that's awesome, man. Congrats. That is awesome. Glad to hear that, man. Up to these days. What am I up to these days? Well, basically I'm haven't had a whole lot of luck in the job market lately. I have been my last job I had, and the company ended up going out of business. So I have been on unemployment for a little while, and for some reason nobody wants to hire anybody. So kind of pursuing other options, but comic book art and illustration has always been something that I've been interested in. So I figured, you know what the heck, give it a shot and see what happens. So that is why I am drawing Superman punching Doomsday live on the internet. I do have a couple pages I'm working on for a sample script behind me. I got the inks of the first page and the double page spread there. I can see about pulling them out if you want to see those. Actually, I posted the final. Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. I like the work. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm trying to get those done. Just well, for one, for practice, and two, for getting a portfolio done. And thanks, man. Oh, I definitely plan on keeping at it. And I'm also working on trying to create the story first before I draw it. I have a comic book story that I'm going to be working on. I have my own original character. If you've seen my Instagram at all, you've probably seen him. His name is Domini. He's the big barbarian dude. I can pull up an image. I think yeah. Hey, Mom. Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, let me see if I got a good picture of Domino here. Yeah, I gotta do like a really good one. All I've got is the also moonlighting, some video production, video editing work. Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I've done a little bit. Yeah, you've seen him on your Instagram. Cool, 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 cool. Yeah. So he's a character. I've got my problem is I have too many story ideas on what I want to do with them. So I'm trying to narrow it down to you know a reasonable length first. So doing these pages based on the sample script I found from the written by the legendary Chuck Dixon. If you're not familiar with him, he's the co-creator of Bane from the Batman comics. He's also responsible, I think, for he has a Guinness World Record for like most highest number of single issues ever written. The guy's just an absolute legend. And so he wrote a sample script based on one of his many properties he's got, and so it's a simple little 8-page story, and it's pretty awesome. It's like an alternate World War I setting, and yeah, I bet. Yeah, you're quite the story guy too, from what I remember. So yeah, I bet you. I know you definitely get it. It's just like I know I hear a lot of people are like, I don't have any ideas, and I'm like, I wish I had that problem sometimes because like my problem is I've just got too many. It's just like, oh man, I want to do this, and then we can get to that, and then that'll allow me to tell this, and it's like, bring it down. Let's just tell a simple story. Don't get too ahead of yourself. Oh hey Jess, thanks for coming in. How you doing? But yeah, I've always been a fan of the barbarian genre. I've always loved Conan and those types of guys, and I just thought it'd be kind of fun to do my own little take on it. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and fling some of these out this way, because then it looks like that path is really. You kind of feel that angle, and it just feels like you can feel that hit, where it kind of sells the impact a little bit better. Okay, sounds good. So I think that's probably good as far as inks go. So let's go ahead and dare to try coloring this. Let's. Never read Conan. Oh, John Carter. Yes. Um, I recently read the first Princess of Mars book, the first John Carter book, and absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. I need to read the other ones. I got a Kindle version that has like every single book written by, and of course I'm blanking on the guy's name. I always mix up R.D. Howard and the guy that wrote John Carter and Tarzan. I'm always missing those guys up. But anyway, yeah, the original guy that wrote John Carter, and I know as soon as I see it, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, duh. But dude, the Conan books are really good. They're really fun. If you're a fan of like that old school kind of pulp storytelling. Okay, not read all of them. Yeah, no, I haven't either. But the first, yeah, again, that first book, that's the one I've read, and I've actually been rereading it. It's fantastic. Edgar Rice Burroughs, yes. See, as soon as you said it, I was going to be like, duh. For some reason, I'm always getting his name mixed up with Robert E. Howard. I don't know why. That's just a weird thing my brain does. It's like Edgar Rice Burroughs was Mars and Tarzan. Robert E. Howard. Yeah, classic. Yes, very much so. Well, with the John Carter stuff, what's really fun about that is the fact that the first book came out in 1912, right? So when you consider what we actually knew about space back then, and the fact that he was able to create this whole amazing fantasy world based on Mars, and yeah, and the fact that he has, like John Carter is what gives us, the classic like Green Martians and you know, the sexy red, space babes and spaceships, and the fact that he even came up with those guns that was the element on Mars that when exposed to sunlight explodes. So they used that for their ammunition. It's like, yeah, the guy just came up with all that stuff back in those days, and it's just, I don't know. I just find that stuff really fascinating. A lot of people might not know. John Carter was also a major influence on the original Golden Age appearance of Superman, because he was, yeah, Jules Verne. Jules Verne is a guy I do need to dig into. I haven't. I'm ashamed to say I have not read any of his stuff, but yeah, he's definitely on my list. I'm a very slow reader. But anyway, yeah. But Superman, the original Golden Age of Superman, he was inspired by John Carter and Hercules. Because if you look at it, John Carter in the books, his power set is remarkably similar, if not identical, to the original Golden Age Superman. He can't talk about, yeah, he can't, all he can do is jump really far and he's really strong. Yeah, I love how in the books they talk about how they can't get in code because all codes were breakable. It really sounds quantum computers working. Yeah, I know, right? It's it's just really fun. I always get a kick out of watching things from the past, like predicting what the future is going to be like and seeing you know how close they were, things like that. It's just, I don't know. I find that stuff really fascinating. It's just fun. I knew I said I was going to get into coloring, and I meant it, but apparently I changed my mind for a second here. So sorry about that. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. So we're going to go ahead and, nope, that's not what I meant to do. That is not what I meant to do. We're going to pick. Now, I'm going to jump into, like Back in the Future, exactly. We technically do have hoverboards, and we technically do have the technology to do flying cars, but I know the insurance on flying cars, I imagine, would be ridiculous. Could you imagine? Yeah, what a car insurance on something like that would be. But the thing I really wanted though from Back to the Future 2 was the that like instant pizza thing, where they put the little tiny ball in the thing, pressed a button, in a couple seconds it dinged, and then you got this full size pizza coming out. I was like, man, that that is the future. I want that. And sad to say, I was a bit let down by that. Well, they say it was like hydration or something like that. So what I'm going to be doing now is what's called flatting. It is basically where you break the drawing down, the image down into solid colors, and doesn't really matter what the colors are at this point. We'll change the colors later to what we actually want them to be. Um, but we have, but then we'll, pick the colors at that point. But for right now, this is just set up so I can make selections later on down the road, make things go a little bit quicker. We have a technology for a lot of these things, but not a lot of things are feasible. Exactly. Yeah, that darn real life science getting in the way of everything. I hate it. So let's see here. So we're going to go ahead and separate. So we're going to separate Doomsday, and I'm going to get real sloppy with it at first because I just want to make sure I get all of him, and then we'll refine it as things go. Because if I do it like this, then I'm not having to redraw everything or re-select things. I don't have to worry about it, which is nice. Bear with me here. Forgot what all my buttons I have, do. Bear with me here. Where is my fill tool? There we go. All right. Oops. What happened? Okay. Where did that come from? Oh, whoops. Well, hey, now we know there's a random white line in there. What's your process for coloring? Do you use multiply or overlay layers, or do you paint layer or something else? I admit I'm kind of playing with it. I know, yeah, multiply and overlay are definitely my go-tos if I can't get it to work otherwise. But honestly, hard light has become kind of a favorite of mine. Once you kind of understand the the quote unquote math of how it works, it's pretty sweet. And what it does is, when you have a 50% gray, it doesn't show at all. But the more saturation you get, you add to the color, the more that color shows up, and the more above 50% gray you go, the brighter you get, the brighter the color will be, and vice versa. The darker you get, the more dark it will be. So it kind of does everything in one layer or in one coloring mode. So it's pretty cool. But sometimes, yes, I will admit, sometimes you just get a better look doing. Let's see, I'm really struggling here. Get right with me. 1 second. Sometimes the multiply and overlay just give you the better look. So. There we go. What the heck? Hold on. Sorry, I guess I'm still relearning all my buttons here. I got this little contraction that I got this little contraption I'm using. It's basically like a video game controller, and I'm gonna break everything if I try to bring it up and show it to you. It's called the Tour Box, and it's really nifty, but when I forget the buttons I'm using, it makes it a challenge. Or the buttons that I set, mind you. It just makes it a bit of a challenge. Okay, so then we're going to go ahead and pick a different color. Again, at this point, the color itself just doesn't matter. It's all about just keeping them separated so I can select them easier. I got my little cheat sheet here. I think I have these memorized by now. Aha, I thought that was it. Okay. Photo retouching. Yeah, it's kind of a similar idea. All right. Yeah, there's this great colorist on YouTube that I've followed forever. The channel's called Color with Kurt, and he did a half-hour long video about why he loves hard light so much, and it kind of became a joke amongst his fan base that he's starting this cult called the Church of Hard Light or whatever. I thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, but start getting down into it, it really does do a lot. It's pretty useful. But yeah, but sometimes multiplied sometimes does just look better. It just kind of depends on what you're looking for. Okay, so I want her to be separate. I want to make sure he's not in there. Da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, my little story headcanon is they're like she's a native to Metropolis and he's just in town for like a business meeting, and so this all going down here for her is just like it's just another Tuesday. So she's just like awesome, something to post online. Whereas this guy's like he's never seen this before, so he's just absolutely flipping out. And I don't know, I thought that'd be kind of fun. Okay, so now is where we start getting a little bit more in the details here. We're just gonna get. Now the cool thing is the way this is. Well, actually, hold on. Let's do this. I almost spoke too soon. So when you're selecting anything, if you hold down Alt, you can remove from the selection. Holding down Shift will allow you to add to the current selection. This is pretty common for any software you use. Of course, I'm using Clip Studio, but that works the same in Photoshop or whatever. Oh yeah, no, Scott. Yeah, I'm aware of all those guys. Those guys are amazing. Yeah, Marco Bucci, and I have several of Proco's classes on his website. They're very, very reasonably priced for the info you can get out of them. I know they got a course with David Finch teaching how to draw a comic book page, and if you're familiar with David Finch, the guy's just an absolute legend. But yeah, watching Aaron Blaise animate, animation it requires a level of patience that I just don't have. I have all the respect in the world for people that do it. But yeah, and I've learned a lot about color theory from Marco Bucci. So yeah, big fan of all those guys. You have some good taste there, my friend. Steven Zapata is another good one. He just recently kind of started getting back to live streaming. He's kind of goofy, but he's fun. I'm trying to think of some other ones here. Yeah, Color with Kurt. David Finch actually does some great tutorials for that guy's level of experience. It's just insane with that guy. And he's just giving that information away for free. His live streams are fun because he'll often have some legend on or like some painter on and learning their techniques. Like I don't know if you're familiar with Drew Struzan. He did all those amazing movie posters in the '80s. He did the Star Wars, Indiana Jones posters, and a bunch of other ones that I'm blanking on at the moment. But one of the all time greats. And yeah, David Finch did a live stream going over his painting process and how he did it, and it was phenomenal. And I was like, oh, I kind of want to try this. Yeah, he does like once he basically pencils it, inks it, and then once he's done that, then he'll spray it with an ultra matte medium from Liquitex, and then he sprays it with an airbrush, and then that basically seals the paper, and it kind of creates this toothy, papery texture again. And then he puts a layer of his base acrylic paint colors, and then once he's good with that, he puts another layer of the matte medium on, and then he does the rest of it with colored pencil. And when the colored pencil gets too waxy and too built up to use, just puts another layer down. And it's basically every time you put that layer down, it's like you're sealing it in and creating a whole new layer of paper to work on. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, I just gotta get an airbrush, and then I would love to mess around with that, but yeah, I get an airbrush first. So that's sometime down the road that'll be fun to mess with. But yeah, it's pretty fascinating. I geek out about art techniques, so. Yeah, I realize that flatting is not the most exciting thing to watch. I get that. Our style trends, my book illustrations, one guy I really like is Mark Louie or Mitch Louie. Okay, okay. I'm not familiar with him, but yeah, no, I love that stuff too. Um, so guys like, of course, as soon as I was about to say it, I blanked on his name. Um, Watterson, Bill Watterson, the guy that did Calvin Hobbes. Um, yeah, I love his stuff. Yeah, it's cool, but yeah, I'll have to look him up. That's the reason the interns all did flooding. Exactly. Well, most professional colorists they hire out for this. So when you hear about these, you know, guys like Marta Gracia, who is one of the all time great colors, or Dave Stevens, who are great. Yeah, they hire these out. So they find some intern. They'll pay them $20 a page. You do the flatting for me, and so then they get it all done already. So that way they can just say, oh yeah, I can get a whole entire page done in 2 hours. It's like, of course, you didn't have to flat anything. But once you get the flatting done, it makes everything go so much faster. So it is worth it in the long run to do that. It just yeah, definitely takes patience. And making sure you're using the right buttons. Let's see. There we go. Like I said, I set these buttons myself. You'd think I'd be better at them. And have them more memorized. Let's see. Let's just pick a random. Yeah, and again, at this point, the colors don't matter. I'll change them all later. And the beauty of it is once you kind of get them all blocked in, the settings I've got with this fill tools, it won't overlap already colored layers, already selected colors, unless I specifically tell it to. So that's pretty neat. And since she's in the background, I'm not gonna go too crazy with her. She's pretty much just gonna be all one color anyway. I might separate her phone, but that's about it. Because again, she's not supposed to be a focal point, so neither is this other dude. God, I remember way back in the day, the first time I learned you can add and subtract from your selections. Oh man, I was so excited because anybody that's ever, like, when you're messing around with Photoshop for the first time and you don't realize that, like, you screw up a selection and you feel like you just got to start all over again. Yeah, been there. Been there. So when I learned that you didn't have to do that, it was very exciting. So yeah, so generally, this is something I learned from that Color with Kurt guy on YouTube. You basically just kind of select the outline, just kind of loop around, select, and it just kind of, it can go rather quick. Yeah, it is necessary. After college, I tried to teach myself drawing by drawing a comic. It took me close to 8 hours to get one page done. Yeah, that's no joke, man. Yeah, I know what that's like. Yeah, I've colored a couple pages for portfolio work, and yeah, when you're doing the flats and everything yourself, yeah, it takes most of the day. It's yeah, that's just how it goes. But hopefully someday when I'm a big successful, call it colorist, comic book creator, I can go like, hey kid, you want a job? $20. I'll say it just like that, and then he'll look at me weird, and then go, yes sir, old man. Yeah, we'll just grab her hair too. Let's grab her hair. And yeah, I guess this stuff's not too important because it's kind of outliers. Yeah, and again, since she's kind of more of a background character, she's not. I don't need to worry about being super precise. All right, so let's just. Nope, not that one. Aha. Yeah, it's different enough. That works. So they can be close. They just have to be somewhat different. Okay. So you got the main three. So let's go ahead and get that background flatted in. Oh, actually, I did miss a little bit here. Really don't. That's actually a really gross looking green color, I'm realizing. But, oh well. Okay, so let's get away from those gross looking green colors. So now that we've got that settled, in theory, this should work where I can just select all around here, select around here. Actually, we'll go ahead and cut him out. It should. Haha. Ah, I love it when a plan comes together. So yeah, so that's basically how we do it. Now that so my settings are set. So when you do the flat tool, it'll butt up against an already added color, unless you tell it otherwise. So that's kind of a nice little feature. So I can just go, here, dome. Oh. Maybe. So I can just go like da 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 da. There we go. Oh, I think I accidentally hid the thing. So we're gonna go ahead and like so. Don't worry, this will get exciting at some point, I promise. Nope. That is actually not the way I want to go. Okay. Okay. And I can pretty much just kind of come in like this. Yeah, again, still haven't quite memorized the buttons that I selected, that I set up, apparently. Gotta put the kids to bed, and I'll see you on again. Stop by sometime. Awesome, Scott. Well, thanks again for popping in, man. I really appreciate it. Good to hear from you. I am planning on doing this every week, so yeah, stop on by anytime, man. Loved it. Great to hear from you. Glad all's going good. So how the rest of y'all doing out there tonight? Yes, Scott, my mom is thanking you for coming in, and my mom is a wonderful lady, so you should feel honored. Oh my God. Okay, come on. Let's do this. I made a little bit of an oopsie with this little selection here, so we're just going to fix that real quick. Boom. All right. Yeah, so basically we just got to fix all this. Let's see. Like so. Oh, whoops. That's right. Wrong color. That doesn't help. Let's see. Why isn't it doing what I want it to? Because I'm doing it wrong. There we are. Okay, so then we'll just... And again, since I've already traced these and I've already selected these, I don't need to draw over them again. Because for one, that's doubling work. And two, it just doesn't serve any purpose. We're just gonna... So really at this point I just want to make sure I get all this stuff. I'm pretty much just going to have the background be all one flatted color. I'm not going to go too crazy in separating that all out. Those selections there. Yes, happy little background color. Yes. Okay. So then pretty much just got this guy and the rest of this little section here. And then we are good to go. Oh yeah, all these little spikes. Thanks, Jess. So the purpose of the flats is to have a base? Kind of. The purpose of the flats is to give me easy selections. So when I'm actually doing the real colors, and I'm doing like, shading or rendering, a lot of people call it, then that's having these Flats will give me easy selections so I can control exactly where I want things to go without having to be careful about where my brush goes and all that stuff. It just makes the whole process go really smooth. So it's time consuming. It's a bit tedious, but once you have it done and have it set up, it does make everything go significantly smoother. So at this point, the colors just don't matter as long as they're all different from each other. And then I can use the magic wand tool. I can use the magic wand tool to select that individual color. And one thing I love about Clip Studio Paint is they have what's called reference layers. So I can say, hey, I want my flats layer to be like, I want my magic wand to look at my flats layer no matter what other layer I'm on. It doesn't matter. Just doesn't matter what I'm on. Just always, always, always look at this reference layer. So I can be on any layer I want, pull out the wand, and it's gonna automatically select from the reference layer. And it's really time consuming. It saves a lot of time, and it's really sweet. I'll definitely be using that heavily once we get this done. It takes a lot of patience. Yes, flatting is a lot of patience required. Patience is something that God is continuously teaching me, or trying to anyway. This is, you just kind of got to get in your Bob Ross phase, you know. Happy little selection. Happy little selection. Shoot, that was so much fun. Let's go ahead and do it again. God was having a great day when he made Alaska. Alrighty, so now we can pretty much just do that. Do that. And absolutely. And stick around long enough, you'll definitely get to see that in action. Once it's all said and done, it does go real smooth. Yeah, I thought about. I'm not gonna lie. I had thought about just skipping this stage altogether and just washing and brushing in all these colors, but I just, yeah. But as soon as, just my luck, as soon as I do that, you're gonna be like, oh man, I should have flatted it, because that can get pretty yeah. You can find yourself in some troubles. There we go. Okay, so now, nope. Don't do that. I want to do that. There we are. Gotta love Bob Ross. He is the best. So technically, even though these are spikes coming off of his face, and they are the same as these, I am gonna use a different color for them for flatting, because again, the purpose is to make it so I can select them easier. So I'm probably gonna want to do something different with these than the spikes that are actually on him. So just giving myself those options later down the road. Just in case. Interesting to see how it comes together. Yeah, it's definitely yeah, there's that myth that I've definitely fell under, that, you know, doing it digitally will just make, yeah, it's like, well, if I have the same digital tools, I can do what my heroes are doing. And it's like, well, to some extent, but yeah, it's still very much hand done, even though it's done digitally. There's a lot to learn, a lot to, you know, figure out. It's just that human touch. So That makes it fun. That's funny though. I feel like I can color almost faster traditionally, but and that's coming from somebody who's not even all that great at it. I'm still kind of learning it. Um, but I don't know. It's still kind of fun. I don't know. It's relaxing when you flatting can be kind of relaxing when you just kind of go into that little mode. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and paint those in one by one. And I'll just do that there. Oh, forgot one. So I hope everyone out there is having a good day, or had a good day and is having a good evening, or depending on where you're at. And no, those will not remain pink forever. It's just for now. Oh yeah, I got these two. Okay, so now let's just go ahead and kind of just separate this guy out, and then we just got a few things to do left on the main characters, and then we'll be off and running. All right. So, first of all, we want to get that color. Oh, yeah, I'm seeing little things there I need to fix, which I will definitely do. So, after this guy, so don't let me forget. Love the neon colors, though. Makes me feel... Yeah, it's kind of trippy, isn't it? I was thinking about... I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about trying to make... I don't know. Debating about maybe trying to do an old school. Do they do flats? No, flats is actually a creation from the digital age of comics. So before... Back in the day, what they would do is they would get the inks, and then they would lay on top of it there's a name for it that I'm blanking on. It's that that's that clear plastic paper that you can acetate paper, I think, something like that. Anyway, so they would lay that on top of the inks, and then they would basically use ink dyes, coloring dyes, and they would put the colors on top of that, so it would sit on the inks. Yeah, something along those lines, something like that. I can't remember exactly, but it's something like that. So you're getting inks so you're getting color washes over the ink. So the inks still do most of the work. If you look at a lot of those old comics, sometimes you can see where the the colors don't always line up perfectly. Sometimes you might see little gaps in the lines, things like that, just because it's all hand done, hand chosen, which I find kind of fun. Pristine formats, when technology got a little bit more advanced with the printing, you'd see a lot more like watercolor, that kind of stuff. But yeah, as far as flatting specifically, yeah, that's more of a tool from the digital days. I know there's all these like so-called shortcuts you can use nowadays, like tools that like do everything automatically for you, quote unquote. But I don't know. In my opinion, every time I've messed with those, it's just caused me more hassle than it's worth, because I'm always fixing things that it's not doing right, and so I figured, it's just every time I just thought, if I'd just done it right the first time, it would save me all this hassle. So that's just kind of the way I do it. That's why I do it this way. And I think most you know, most professionals still do it this way, the old school way. But I say that, I'm sure there's a lot of people that still use the automatic tools. I just haven't figured out a way to make them work for me. But yeah, no, it's yeah, old school page. Man, yeah, there's something about those old school pages because, especially like, um, you know, all the lettering back in the day was they would literally print them out, cut them out, and then they would um, paste them on the page. So like stickers almost. And so when you get any of those original pages from back in the day, you're literally getting the whole story because they would literally just stick the lettering right on top. And I don't know. I found that kind of cool. Yeah. See, nowadays the letters is all done, you know, digitally on computers. So you know if you're so if you do manage to look at original comic book art nowadays, you're only going to see the inks, which don't be wrong is awesome. I love looking at original comic book artwork. I don't know. There's something kind of fun about having just kind of having all of that right there. And again, I see a couple things I need to touch, and that's just because I'm being a little rough with it. So you gotta remember to breathe. But yeah, once I have extra money, I'm more than happy to pay someone to do this for me. Let's see. Okay, I had a couple of things I need to fix up here. There we go. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do that. And we're just going to mix that up. A little spot in his tie. Yeah, the more time you spend to getting it right in the flats, the easier the rest of it's going to go. It's no fun realizing that your process is interesting. Well, good. I'm glad you think so. I'm glad you think so. This is by far my least favorite part of the process, but yeah, I don't know, it's interesting. It's more of a technical, yeah, it's more of a technical process than it is a you know, artistic one. You're not really doing any storytelling or anything like that with it. You're just kind of setting yourself up for success later on. But we are getting close to the end point. We're getting almost there. All two of you watching, we are almost there. Woot woot woot. And then we will actually pick the colors and do all the cool shading and make it look cool. Or so I hope. There. Okay. Cool. So we got that. So there's just a couple things on Superman. Like I gotta get his face and hands separated, separate the cape, and then I'm gonna separate the spikes on him, and then in the ponytail, and then I think then we'll be good. We'll be golden. We'll be Michael Golden. He's a comic book artist. That's a nerd joke. Gotta have a good foundation to build on. Absolutely. My grandpa was a wise man once said, if it's worth doing right. And let's see here. Yeah, I'm gonna separate his hair too, but we're just gonna get the big shape first. So basically, yeah, work big shapes with small shapes is kind of what we're after. It just kind of makes things go smoother. That's right. Yes, it is. And we'll give him kind of a grayish kind of color. And again, I'm picking these colors pretty much at random, so I'm not worried about it too much. Okay. And then I want his heat vision going, so I'm going to make his eyes red. So I might as well just go ahead and do that now. Superman mad. Give him like a red. I can show you how to do a cool glow effect with it, which is... There's another nice thing about digital coloring is glow effects are a whole lot easier. Boom. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Okay, then we're going to get the cape. I'm probably gonna wait till the end before I put that Superman logo on the back. But yeah, everyone watching, if you could, if you haven't already, please hit that like button for me. It supposedly is good for the channel, so if you haven't already, I'd greatly appreciate that. And feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. That'll tell you when the next things are coming. I have a random game live stream that I did the other day, just completely spur of the moment. And that was a lot of fun. I think I might do some more of those. I'm thinking about probably going to play Oblivion next. I think that would be a fun game to do. Yeah, now I'll tell you what, next time I have a digital art piece like this, I'll just flat it off screen. I'll just flat it offline so no one has to sit through this again. But at least we got it documented at least once. Oblivion, yes. I think I'm going to do that, yeah, because I loved that game back in the day, and I got to tell you, that remaster they got, oh, it's so good. It's so good. Okay, we'll just pull that down. Thanks for teaching. My pleasure. My pleasure. Glad people are learning. Nope. What are you doing? We're going to do that. And there you go. Cool. Oh, yeah, I got to do his hand, too. Almost forgot the hand. Don't want to do that. Yeah, and again, this flatting thing, it's, you know, depending on the style of art you're doing, this may or may not be necessary. You know, if you're wanting a more traditional painting look or things like that, flatting may not be as necessary. But I know a lot of people still do it just because, again, it can save you a lot of headache in the long run. So it just kind of depends on you want to spend the time early on, have an easier time later, or the other way around. It's just kind of up to you. I want to do that. Okay, I got a couple other little things I want to fix. Actually, I got a tool. Let's see. It's got a figure. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Here we go. Lasso fill tool. I really like this thing. This is literally just you lasso, and then it just automatically fills in the little spots. So this is nice for those quick little detail fixes. Yeah. So that way you don't have to go through the whole rigmarole. The key with this, and anytime you're using a lasso, especially for flatting, 100%, always make sure this anti-aliasing is turned off. Always, 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 always. Have your lasso and your magic wand have the anti-aliasing turned off. What that does when it's on is it makes it kind of softens it and gives it this blurry edge. And when you're trying to make selections, that is just an absolute... It's just bad. It's just bad all in all. So don't do it. So that's my PSA on that. Let's see here. Let's give them some. Let's see here. The beauty of it is now that I've kind of already separated these from the background, I don't have to be as careful. Yeah, trust me, I've learned that the hard way. It is not fun. Yeah, I don't know if this is really necessary, but you know what? Why not? Let's go. You're nothing worse than filling a color and realizing that you have a big blurry line and everything is all gross looking. Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, I know this is super exciting to watch, I'm sure. Yeah, like I said, next time I'll probably do this part off stream just so you're not having to suffer through it. Maybe sharp cheddar. Sharp cheddar. Shop cheddar. Shop cheddar. I think you pulled one over on me, Jess. I'm sorry. You're clearly smarter than me on that one. Some shop cheddar. Sharp. Sharp cheddar. We're talking cheddar like the cheese, or cheddar like, you know, give me some of that cheddar. People still say that, right? My favorite artist. Thanks, Mom. At least my mom is a fan. I'm glad I don't have to go, see, Mom, look at me. And she just goes, ugh. I don't have to do that because my mom is awesome. And my sister, who's also here. For which I thank you. And when I said I'm almost done with flats, we're getting even more so now. I promise. No, you're awesome. Thanks, Mom. Okay, so all that, and then I'm going to change these spikes ever so slightly. Love the spikes. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I love the way they look. Let's just say that. Flatting them, not so much, but I love the way they look. Yeah, he's a cool design. Good old Doomsday here. This is my first time ever drawing him, and chances are high it'll probably be my last. But no, he's cool. I mean, he was the first character to ever kill Superman, so it's like he's got respect. You gotta respect that. Soup's got his vengeance though, so it's all good. What? Hold on. Hold on. Bear with me here. I did a thing. Okay. Okay, let's try this for real this time. Okay. Boom. There. Okay. I love technology, but not as much as you see. But I still love technology, always and forever. Name that movie. No, that's stuck in my head. I love technology, but not as much as you see. But I still love technology, always and forever. Good job. Napoleon Dynamite, first try. I'm assuming you did not Google that, so I will give you full props. I'm all about the useless movie quotes. Always and forever. Always and forever. Just a happy little little spike right there. And these guys, since they're up against the background, I can just get the base of them. And then be good. There. Pretty cunning, don't you think? Cool. All right. So then let's just couple little quick fixes here. Let's see. Okay. Oops, I don't want that. Okay. So many spikes. Why did I draw so many spikes? You know what? Let's do the ponytail. And then I'll get back to the spikes. All of the selecting. So much selecting. Always and forever. Alrighty. Oh, that needs to be a different color. There. Okay, fine. That's one example where it didn't work like it was supposed to. But, there's always... That's a rarity, thankfully. Kent's got it on the TV. Oh, no. So I'm on a giant TV, am I? That's not nerve-wracking at all. Awesome. Okay, so we got some more spikes to do. So many spikes. So many spikes. Nope, what am I doing? Let's see. We got about another half hour left on the stream, so we'll see if I even. Hopefully, I can at least get the base colors chosen tonight. So this might be a three-parter, but next week should be a whole lot more fun because it'll be actually coloring and stuff. And yeah, so this is my lesson. I will be flatting off stream from now on, so I don't have to force you all to sit through it with me. Because this is supposed to be entertainment, after all. And so I was going, oh, it won't take me that long to flat. And it's like, oh, famous last words. Saying that's like the equivalent of going, what's the worst that can happen? Everything. Everything is the worst that can happen. Polydynamite, is that where the Liger came from? Technically, I think Ligers do exist in reality, but it's fun. Thanks, Mom. Thanks. But no, the Liger, I believe, existed in real life. I think before, well long before, but Polydynamite is definitely what popularized it. Can't remember. Was it? Yeah, because there was the Liger and the Tygon, right? So the Liger, one was like the male tiger and the female lion, and then one was the, I think that was the Liger, and then I think the other way around was the Tygon, which was the like the wimpy one, according to Napoleon Dynamite. No, they're stupid and wimpy and they smell like poo. Speaking of movies, I saw that How to Train Your Dragon this past weekend. Strong Bad reference. Oh yeah, good old Strong Bad EMS. Did I make a Strong Bad reference? When did I make a Strong Bad reference? Oh. Hey Kent, how you doing? Thanks for sitting here watching. Listening to my soothing voice. Start talking like those NPR guys. And now for the story coming up. I'm continuing to flat. Thank you. Thank you very much. Glad you're liking it. Yeah, I think the inks definitely look a whole lot better than where we left off last week. Get a little punch. So the good news is I think that should allow the colors to not have to do much heavy lifting because the inks are going to do most of it. So that should make the coloring go relatively quickly. That's the theory anyway. Wait, what? Oh. All right, looks like we got 6 people watching. Awesome. If you haven't already, just another reminder, if you could hit that like button and maybe the subscribe button if you feel like it. Supposedly that somehow helps with the channel, so if you feel so led to do so, I'd greatly appreciate it. And yep, thanks. Alrighty, so we are almost there. Almost there. I see a couple errors I need to fix. So we'll just do that. Again, these two I'm going to leave, they're going to be in the background, so they're pretty much just going to be washed in one color anyway. So I'm not going to worry about breaking these two down, despite my urge to separate his tie. I think I'm not going to do that because the last thing I want to do is pull too much attention to him. So it's supposed to be one of those things that's like, yeah, well, once you look through and then you'll see it. You'll see him there, but first I want you to look at the big guy getting his spikes punched off, and then you're like, who's punching him? Then you're like, oh, hey, look, it's Superman. And you look around the image and you go, oh, look, there's 2 people there watching. How about that? Yeah, I kind of went over that a little bit at the beginning of the stream, kind of the thought process for the composition. I guess I can repeat that if you wanna. But yeah, basically, quick version. Oh, quick version. We'll just, when flattening technique, do you have to do the entire drawing or just certain parts you want to highlight? So the flattening is basically yeah, any part that I think I might want to color separately from anything else. So, for example, you know, I'm probably going to want to have a highlight on Superman's suit here that I may not want, or a color that I want to put on his suit here that I don't want to affect his face. So by doing it this way, I can select just his suit and do whatever I want to it without having to affect his face, if that makes sense. Because, you know, for example, here, this part of his face is going to be blocked from the light by his shoulder here. So I can do a highlight on his shoulder that I don't want to hit his face. And by doing the flats this way, it just allows me to select everything the way I want, so I can make that a lot easier. So I don't have to be constantly going through and fixing everything. I can just select it, throw it on there, and call it good. So that's the big part of what makes this so beneficial in the long run. But yeah, oh yeah, I was gonna do the little. Let me get a ink pen. So kind of like I was mentioning at the beginning of the stream, I realized no one was watching. So, but basically, you know, the whole point of this is to get you to look where I want you to look, and generally in the order that I want you to look. So humans, we tend to look at faces first. So you're gonna have this big face right here looking at you. You're going to go, what's going on there? That's strange. And then you're going to follow his ponytail up here. And then you're going to go, hey, there's Superman. Oh, that's cool. And then you're going to follow that arc down to find these two, and then, which is awesome. And then this guy is going to, you know, he's pointing, so he kind of throws you back in. And then this arm kind of punches you back down. So it's the whole point is to kind of keep you locked into the piece. So that's kind of the idea, and then you can file this out at the bottom if you want. So that's kind of the thought process when you're staging things like this. Hopefully that made some sense. I don't want to be that guy in, was it Billy Madison? Nothing in anything you just said was anywhere close to resembling a rational, coherent thought. Everyone here is now dumber for having listened to you. I'd rather not be that guy. Let's see. So now we just got the teeth. Dearth. Oh yeah, I think I got a little sidetracked. Talking about the How to Train Your Dragon live action. Went and saw that over the weekend and was pleasantly surprised. Thought that was quite a good movie. Highly recommended. I mean, I still think the original is the best as always because there's just certain things you can do in animation that you just can't in live action. But that being said, I thought this movie did a really good job. So there you go, movie reviews with Tim. Bet you didn't know you even wanted that, huh? Great movie, yes. And Gerard Butler, you know, was that dude, man. Watching Gerard Butler just bare knuckle punch a dragon multiple times. It's like, I don't care who you are, that's awesome. That thorough matey with his big old Leonidas voice. Let's go get the dragons. Like, yeah. Odin, it was rough. Ja, I'm going. I'm just doing a little bit of cleanup for my sloppy work from earlier. Okay. Oh my God, is that really it? I think that's actually it. Oh my God, okay. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to label this as flats. So we always know which one we're on. Go flats. And then we're going to duplicate this layer. Then we're going to call this, you can call it local colors or base. I like to call it base colors. Cool. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this flats layer. We're going to click on this little icon that looks like a lighthouse. That's called and that turns it into a reference layer. And then we're going to lock it because we do not want to change anything on this. And so the reference layer, what that does is it allows the other tools that you actually, you know what? Sorry. One other thing I want to flat first, and then we'll do it for real. But with the reference layer, what that does is it allows you to say, hey, magic wand, whatever tools that I want, treat the flat layer as the only thing you're looking at. That's the only layer that exists. No matter what other layer I am currently on, only look at this reference layer that I'm using, and that can save a ton of time when you're doing selections, so that way you're not constantly having to, switch layers, make your selection, and then go back to other layers. Yeah, it's just makes things so much nicer. So that's another reason why I love Clip Studio Paint, because Photoshop does not have reference layers. Not to throw shade, they just don't. Yeah, bear with me here. I just want to change this color here. So let's just do something like that, maybe. Perfect. Yeah, that works. Okay. Oops. Okay, and we'll just get my... Yeah, flatting is that weirdest thing when it's actually done, you almost don't believe it. You're like, oh my God, am I done with flatting? Holy cow, I did it! I actually did it! It's over! Almost. There, just cleaning up some edges here. Okay, and I'm happy with all that. Okay, so for reals this time, we are actually done with the flats. So I will go ahead and duplicate this layer. We'll call this base. Colors. And the thing is, we want to turn off reference layers for the base colors because we only want it looking at the flats. Yeah, look at all the Irish accent. So then we're going to go ahead and lock the flats. And yeah. So we got about 10-ish minutes or so left. So let's see if we can quickly get some decent looking base colors here. So what I like to do is get a solid color that I just, we're just going to put the whole thing in a nice solid color. I'm picturing this as like a night scene maybe, because I think that can give you some really cool lighting options as we go. So let's just pick a nice dark kind of desaturated color, and we're just going to fill. I want to fill this whole thing in, just boom, like that. So now I got my. I'm going to select my wand tool, and then make sure I have it select to refer multiple, and make sure that I have it select to reference layer. So now, in theory, I click here. Oh, hold on. What did I do? What? It happened. Oh, whoops. Never mind. Hold on. That shouldn't matter because it's all. Bear with me here. What is going on? Refer. Well, not only that. There we go. Okay. Oh, no tolerance. There we go. Okay, now we're going. Now we're working. So we're gonna go ahead here, and then I just basically like to, once I make my selection, I like to. Hold on. We're gonna go ahead and kind of use the hue saturation and just kind of find it. So I want this to be a little more blue, a little darker. I'm going to be kind of muted because, again, these are going to be base colors. So when I come in with the rendering and the highlights, it's going to make it that much more, punchy. So we'll go ahead and deselect that. So now I can select the face. What is going on here? Okay, something ain't right here. Bear with me. I probably did something wrong, so bear with me here. We're going to deselect everything. Let's try this again. And then what I can do is, let's try this. Control copy or control click. Select the whole layer. There. So hopefully, in theory, that will get it working properly. Okay, yeah, the eyes. There. So now, okay, so now in theory, it should now work. So we got flats here, so now you know what? Let's just do this. Well, ain't that embarrassing? Okay, so let's try this instead. Let's just do that. We're going to go ahead and lock the flats. I don't know. Oh, that's right, because this has got a... There we go. Okay, now we got it working. Ha! See, even though I'm not technically on the flats layer, it's like, hey, I'll select all that. So now I can go ahead and take that. So I want to, let's just do this. Take a big old brush. Let's see. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to say refer only to editing layer. Connect whatever. I'm going to pick a nice color. I have a little egg on my face, apparently, because this is supposed to work. I don't know why it isn't. So that's exciting. Okay, so now, in theory, we go ahead and do, let's see, only, no, anti-aliasing off. Yeah, refer to, oh, because I had the refer to editing layer only selected and not the, okay, well now, so now, ha, there it goes. See what happens when you have the right settings? Isn't that amazing? So now I can go ahead and, yeah, okay. So first thing I want to do is we're going to deselect that. I'm going to make this kind of a neutral, kind of more of a neutrally kind of bluish color. Because again, this is supposed to be kind of a nighttime scene. Hey, how's it going? Reverend X, thanks for stopping by. Just got some flats done, and now we're picking the base colors here. How you doing? Got a little Superman beating down on Doomsday going here. Let's get in the general ballpark here. I don't know, yeah, Robert X, if you just witnessed my troubleshooting, but I was having a little. Your father shared me your live stream tonight, and I'm glad he did. Oh, thanks. Okay, yeah. I won't obviously dox you on stream, but yeah, my dad mentioned. Okay, my dad has mentioned you. That this is something you'd be interested in. So thanks for stopping by, man. I really appreciate it. But yeah, I was, you just had, I don't know if you were there or not, but you just witnessed me having some fun troubleshooting, messing around with the good old internet. Let's see, if I remember right, are you the one you mentioned to me was the D&D fan? Because if so, we definitely have that in common. Though I haven't played in way too long. Love some good troubleshooting. Amen, brother. Amen. Well, in my case, it turns out it just really helped to actually read read what the buttons were saying. Let's see. I'm trying to get a decent skin tone. General here. Okay, so then we're going to make his hair. Again, his hair is pretty dark normally, so we're just going to desaturate that. I'm going to have some pretty big highlights coming on here when I actually start lighting everything. Let's see. So then we'll do a little bit of the cape. Just going to double check my buttons here. Okay, get him a nice red cape. And ideally, by doing it this way, by putting that one giant color over everything and then kind of picking the colors off of that, it kind of makes them all work together in a way. You know, one thing you always hear people talk about is trying to, harmonize their colors. And yeah, okay. Huge D&D nerd and all things fantasy. I'm the worship leader. Okay, yes, my dad has mentioned you. Forgive me, I've forgotten your first name. You don't have to post it if you don't want to, have that online. But yeah, my dad has definitely mentioned you. He's like, yeah, you and him need to meet up. You guys would definitely be good friends. I was thinking like web design, though. Thanks, man. Well, to be fair, there was a stint there where I was studying web development, but that hasn't gone quite the way I initially had intended. So, I have a passion for art, so I'm working on my own comic stuff, and so I thought, what the heck, let's start trying to do some live stuff. Yeah, I have some. Cancel. I have some comic stuff I'm working on. In the meantime, behind me, I don't know if you can see it. Actually, I'll tell you what. I think I got some. Maybe I can make my screen here. Bear with me 1 second here. My screen a little bit bigger. So this is what I've got done. I don't know if this will fit in the screen or not. You can find this on my Instagram and all my socials. This is the first page from a story that I'm working on. Do you stream on other platforms? Not at the moment. Right now, I'm pretty new to the streaming game, so I figured I'd start with YouTube and go from there. So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I didn't know I know YouTube's kind of the big one, so I figured we'll start from there. But I don't know. Do you do any streaming, Robodex, or do you have any platforms you'd recommend checking out? I know Twitch is kind of more for gaming and that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I think, you know what, way back when I tried, I did do a couple draw streams on Twitch, but yeah, I just didn't, I don't know, it didn't really go anywhere. So but I know, like, apparently Twitter's starting to become quite the streaming platform. I know Instagram's supposed to be pretty good. So I don't know. I'm checking it out. Looking definitely open to options. Hold on, I want to collect both that and those. There we go. But yeah, that page I held up, that was that's first page in a sample script I'm drawing. I found it online, written by the amazing Chuck Dixon. If you're not familiar with his work, he's the guy that co-created Bane, the Batman villain. He's written some of the most legendary comics ever. Oh, dude. Okay. Well, hey, I'm not trying to sound arrogant. I'm a professional streamer. TikTok and Rumble. Oh, dude, awesome. I might. No, that doesn't sound arrogant at all. I appreciate you telling me. I might have to pick. I'd love to pick your brain sometime about that. See what. Maybe get some tips from you at some time. That would be awesome. Think this work great on Twitch? All right. I might have to try that. Try it. Can you? Trying to think, because right now I'm just using OBS software. do can I don't think I can't dual stream with that, right? I'd have to get something like StreamYards or something. Yeah. I'm not technologically illiterate, just for the record, but yeah, the streaming stuff I'm pretty new to. So any wisdom you have, I would appreciate. That. And I'll just kind of. Let's make his teeth kind of just nasty sounding. Maybe kind of yellow him up a little bit. I don't know. I feel like Doomsday doesn't really brush his teeth, I'm assuming, so we'll kind of yellow him up just a wee bit. Oh, that's a little green. Well, that's the other thing about coloring too, which is really interesting. If you look at this, it's kind of this bluish kind of teal color, but against this other blue color, it looks green almost. And that's one of the really strange things about color. It's like it'll look perfectly fine one way, but as soon as you put one color against another, it just looks weird. So that's another reason why I kind of like to do it this way. It's make sure everything kind of works well together. Okay. We just got the eyes. I'm going to make those pretty white. I'm going to put a little bit of a glow on here on those. And then, oh yeah, Superman's eyes are definitely going to be glowing red. He's got the heat vision going. He is angry. He is not happy. So we're going to go, yeah, we're just going to make that. And since this is its own light source, I can let this get pretty saturated without worrying about the environment around him. Yeah, then that's going to be really cool when you put the glow in there. Soup's all like, oh, whoops, still had those eyes selected. Actually, I'm not mad about that pink color. I don't think that's what Doomsday is supposed to look like, but let's see. Yeah, probably not. We'll just cut that out. There we go. Yeah, and again, these two we'll just keep kind of in the background, so I'm not going to worry about them. I'm going to have to look up some more reference for what Doomsday's colors are. Bear with me here. I got a little wonderful little tool that I like to use. I guess I don't have it saved. Never mind. Are you excited for the new Superman movie? Are you bummed like me? It's not Cavill still. A little bit of both. Oh man. Oh, you're asking a nerd question. Okay, so I want to be excited for the Superman movie. I really do. Yes, but like you, yeah, I think Cavill was the perfect choice for Superman. I think he should be Superman. That being said, I wasn't crazy about the tone they went with the Snyder the Snyder movies. I think it started out okay, but obviously Batman Superman, in my opinion, was just a good movie. So my thing with James Gunn is I love him when he does his quirky stuff. He does his quirky heroes and his real offbeat kind of humor, and he has, you know, that kind of that cynical take on a lot of things that can work great for characters like, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy or that Suicide Squad movie. I'm nervous that he'll be able to bring that hopefulness and that genuine, you know, inspirational quality that to a Superman movie that it needs to have. That being said, you know, I love Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner. I love that character in the comics, and I'm happy with the cast all in all. So here's hoping. I thought that last trailer. I don't know if you saw that. The some of the CGI looked pretty rough, and there's that bit where he's flying towards the camera, and they use this really weird fisheye lens on him, and it just looks awkward. I mean, I'm getting nitpicky, but I'm a nerd, and you asked it, so you know what you're getting into. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm pulling for it. I want it to be amazing. I really do. So I'm hoping that it's just. I'm hoping it's better than the trailers are letting on, or at least the ones that I've seen. But yeah, otherwise the casting all in all, I'm pretty excited with, and I like the fact that he's punching a big monster. I like that they're, you know, not shying away from the more comic booky elements of the Superman comics. Like, you know, I'm not at all against crypto or you know, having the robots and the Fortress of Solitude and all that. That's all, you know, classic Silver Age comic book stuff. Although, if I had my way, fun fact, there was a time in the comics. I don't know if you're aware of this, in the Silver Age in the '60s. Here's hoping. Famous last words by GolemWulf. Amen. Amen. Man, if you ever want a rabbit hole to go down, you can look through all the different random superpowers Superman has had for like maybe one issue or two issues, like throughout the '60s. My favorite one is there was a Silver Age comic where he had the superpower where he can shoot little mini versions of himself out of his hands. It's a real thing. I'm not even kidding. You can look it up. And it's the goofiest thing ever. I would, oh man. If James Gunn was really gutsy, he'd have him doing that in the movie. So anyway, nerd rant. But yes, we'll see. I think it's going to do better than the Fantastic Four, and I think the Jurassic Park movie coming out is probably going to do better than all of them because those Jurassic Park movies worldwide just tend to do amazing. So, yeah. So wild. I know, right? I know. Oh, man, dude. 60s comics, Silver Age stuff, man. It's just ridiculous. If you ever want another hilarious rabbit hole to go down, look up, there's a Silver Age comic series called Superman's Pal Jimmy Olsen. Just the covers alone, they're just wild. You can tell these guys are just like, we don't care. We're just going to entertain ourselves more than anything. And they're like, no one's reading these, so we'll just do whatever. They'll put these just crazy covers, stories just on the cover that have nothing to do with the rest of the book. Like one where Jimmy was telling Superman these really sad stories, trying to get him to cry so he could collect his tears for some reason. It's like, okay. And oh yeah, dude, Silver Age stuff is yeah, that's a fun rabbit hole to go down. I don't know why I filled that in. Oh, there we go. The ground is not especially important. Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, deselect. I just want the background. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. So now we're going to go. Nope, we're going to just do that. And then we're going to darken the ground because nobody cares about the ground. That's going to make Doomsday pop a bit more. Punisher meets Archie. That's one I got to read. I need to read that. I'm a huge Punisher fan. I've read a little bit of Archie, but I've never read Punisher meets Archie. I'm going to have to look that up. I've always been curious how that crossover would go. I don't know. I just picture Archie and the gang just being like looking at Frank, just going, yeah, we'll just give this guy a wide berth. You know, he's kind of crazy. The Punisher would be like, "Where's the scum in Riverdale?" And I'll be like, "Whoa, dude, whoa, yeah, it's all right, dude. We're good, we're good." What was I doing? Oh, yeah, I was gonna lighten these up, yeah, because these spikes are kind of like bones, so we're gonna brighten those up quite a bit, like so. And then we got these two back here. So my little, in case you missed it early on, my little in-head canon for this little story, pretty accurate actually. Awesome. I know my Frank Castle. But so my little headcanon is this girl here, she's a native of a metropolis, and this dude is like a business partner in town, like so they can make some kind of business arrangement, and they just happen to be walking back to the office from lunch, and when all this is, started going down, and since she's a native of here, she's just all like, oh, it's like a Tuesday watching this. She's got her phone out, getting ready to stream wherever, probably TikTok. And then since he's not from around here, he's just like, oh my goodness. And yeah, actually, this is the guy that really started the whole drawing, the whole piece. When my first stream, I had absolutely no idea what I was going to do. So I kind of just started out just sketching this dude. And I was like, hey, this guy's kind of fun. So I just shrunk him in the background. And all this just kind of, spawned out of that. So in case you were wondering. But yeah, we're just going to put him in one solid color. Just something to... just a little bit saturated. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, earlier on the stream, someone mentioned kind of doing more of an old school style coloring. And I kind of like that idea. So this is something that would kind of fit that. Back in the day before they did digital coloring and were rendering everything, yeah, these guys would just be washed in one color. I might do that with her too. I might just put her in that same color. Love it. Thanks, man. Thank you. Yeah, it's just funny how sometimes when you're just stuck, you just start something and then it triggers something else. Let's see. Nope. What am I doing? Work with me. I got this little, I don't know if I can get it up. That's where you can see it without knocking everything over. I got this thing called the Tour Box, and it's basically a little video game controller that you can use on any kind of software, specifically this kind of stuff. And it works great for the most part. But every once in a while, I forget what buttons I have mapped to what function, and so sometimes that can cause a little issues, but otherwise the thing works pretty awesome. Yeah, so we'll just make her, she's a little bit farther behind, so we'll just make her a little bit less saturated. And then, you know what? I'm going to make those teeth a bit wider. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay, and this is all just background stuff that I'll probably just end up painting in. But yeah, these are real John Byrne inspired buildings here. Let's see. Yeah, I know his ponytail's pretty much all white too, so we'll do that. So he's pretty much just pure white and gray, this guy. Okay. So we're good with that. So we'll call ahead. I'm terrible at remembering to name layers, so we're going to try to keep up on that. Call this base. Wow, looks great. Thanks, Mom. Thank you. And then one thing I'm going to do, actually, is probably... let's see. Probably going to dial back that background a bit, because again, I don't want you really focusing on that, because that's kind of a... because it's the background, so we'll go ahead and do that. Kind of saturate that. Might actually lighten that up, maybe. I don't want to get it too dark because I don't want it to compete with the black line for getting. If I let it get too dark. Definitely desaturate it though. I want a little bit. Let's see. I mean, I guess we could just pretend that the power's out in Metropolis. Alright, do I have to go? I'd love to catch this. Can't wait to next stream. Thanks, Reverend X, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I'd love to pick your brain about that. I'm probably going to be getting out of here pretty soon for tonight anyway. But yeah, as of right now, the plan is every Tuesday night, 7 o'clock Central Time, where I'm at. And, you know, I will probably do the odd gaming stream here and there just for kicks and grins. Yeah, man, I appreciate it. And definitely love to pick your brain. So, thanks. I'll tell you what here. I'm not really sure what I want to do here. Let's go ahead and... No, let's keep that somewhat bright, and then we'll dial that down. Actually, I didn't mind that little lighter blue. I didn't mind that, actually. That's kind of cool. All right. So, yeah, I think, and definitely go ahead and save this for sure. I think that's probably going to be a good place to call it for tonight. So, everybody that's been hanging out with me, I really appreciate it. And I didn't realize flatting is not the most exciting thing to watch, so appreciate you sticking with me. If you guys haven't already, feel free to hit that thumbs up, like button, and if maybe consider subscribing. I'd appreciate it. I do plan to be doing more content regularly. And my links to all my social media is in the link to my is all in my page. And if you're watching this after the fact, I'm going to have them in the description as well. So yeah, so thank you guys again so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you all